The following is an exclusive presentation of Jesup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
Well, here we are on a Friday morning. That's right. You just about made it to the weekend. Butch Hubbard here with you along Bob Morgan on WIFO FM in Jesup, 105.5 on your FM dial, Big Dial Country Radio. It's now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by the Women's Health Center in downtown Jesup, on Chariot Broad, by Murphy Builder Supply on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup, just down from the big red caboose, and by Murphy Builder Supply, or once again, Murphy Builder Supply, and by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Good?
Good.
Feel better now, Jonathan? You got more Wayne County stuff on the day. Got the Wayne County Cap. Got the Wayne County Baseball. What year was that? 2017. Year we got to the finals.
Finals.
There in Savannah.
Good year.
What's the name of that park up there?
Daffin Park. Grayson Stadium.
Grayson Stadium. That's right. Where the Savannah Bananas play. Have you seen the Savannah Bananas play up there, Bob?
I think I saw last year. I went to a game.
Did you?
I hadn't seen them.
Okay. Now, they're like college players, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Jonathan.
They're sold out, too.
They're sold out?
Yes.
The Savannah Bananas are sold out with college players playing during the summer in the league. No more are they part of a, like single A team for a farm system or anything like that for a Major League Baseball team. They are college players now playing in some college league during the summer. As we were talking to the baseball coach yesterday, Bob, there is no off season anymore.
There's no off season.
No off season.
Everybody's got a season. I said basketball players are out playing basketball. Baseball players are out playing baseball. The football team's headed to Savannah for the 7-on-7.
Are they worried about these kids getting burnt out or something like that? Or, I mean, basically the coach was saying yesterday that if you take much time off, you start losing some of the skills, and the people who you're competing against can continue, and their skills get better. So you're a competitive disadvantage.
That's basically it. I mean, if you want to keep up with the Joneses, you got to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, everybody's doing it. So
okay.
Just a year-round program anymore.
Yeah.
But I still go back to that documentary that Tom Glavine and John Smoltz and Greg Maddox talked about. You got to have different seasons, different muscles of your body. They say that year-round baseball is just not good.
Especially for the pitchers, you would think. You really think
that's why they got the pitch count now. They've
now.
implemented that where they try to keep track of how many pitches you throw. So, but still, though, like I say, Glavine said he played hockey. Smoltz played hockey. They all played golf. They just, they play different sports. They play football. And that's why you have different seasons: football, basketball, baseball. Your muscles have, you use different muscles for different sports. So you need a break. So.
Yeah. Well, I understand that.
That's why you see a lot of these high school kids when they get to that junior, senior year, they get burnt out. They're not into it anymore, and they just start from so young. By the time they get up there, they get other
playing
interests.
year round.
Get other interests.
Yeah. But I guess you ran track up there at Stone Mountain. I ran track here, and I didn't like you. I didn't start training for track until after we got back in school in January. Trained for a couple of months there, ran the track meets in region and state, and then I didn't run again until next January. Okay, it wasn't like I kept running and stayed in shape during the off season, but today, if you're going to be an elite runner, you're going to have to run all year long.
Cross country's in the fall, so the cross country coach always gives a summer schedule. So but it wasn't mandatory. I mean, he didn't show back up. Did you do it? Oh yeah, we did it, Coach.
I would have loved to run. I wish we'd have had cross country back then, because when I was in high school, the longer the event, I was better in the 2 mile than I was the mile. And we didn't have road races around here back then, and so I never ran any road races. I laced up in January and took them off in May, and that was it. The rest of the year, I didn't run at all. But I'd love to have had cross country back when I was at Wayne County High School, but it wasn't available then. Now, it was up there in the Atlanta area, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, we had. When I went to school, Stone Mountain cross country was big.
Yeah,
had all these races.
Yeah. So, but it's a different animal today because I guess, as the coach mentioned yesterday, you got to keep those skill levels up. But they do play now. But if a baseball player is not plays a fall sport, don't they get some time off from September, let's say, until January?
Yeah, I mean, they play a fall sport. A lot of kids don't.
Yeah, a lot of kids don't. So that you got your summer stuff going on, and once it ends in August, when school starts back, that second Thursday in August, then the baseball players, as far as I know, unless they're on some traveling team, don't have to. They get a break for several months.
Get a break, right?
Yeah, let the body heal up and things of that sort. But I know they keep their skill levels up, but at least they're not in competitive events, which puts a lot more stress and strain on the body than just training. And so, speaking of baseball, we've got some big tournaments coming up here in Wayne County, don't we?
Next week. I said all the districts begin a week from today, weatherman permitting. Jonathan says it's supposed to rain all next week, so we'll see how it plays out. I said I think they got some practice games today and tomorrow at Billmore's Park, but I said they said they'd give me that schedule. I hadn't seen any schedule yet, but I know talking to some coaches, they've got some practice games scheduled for today and tomorrow, weatherman permitting. So.
All right, Wayne County Recreation Department, just because Peck's out of town, we need our stuff. Send us the information. Call Bob up. Email it to us. Smoke signals.
I called them Tuesday. They'd say they'd let me know, but I haven't seen
anything. You haven't heard anything yet?
No.
Okay, well, you know the road where the rec department is. You can just swing by there. I mean, just go down there and turn right there at Jones Prescription Shop and go down there past the helicopter.
I'm a busy man.
You're a busy man?
That's what phones and emails are for.
That's what phones and emails are for, huh? Be a good investigative reporter, Bob. Get out there and get it instead of let it being sent to you, right?
I just know talking to some coaches, they've got some games scheduled, but I'm not sure what all leagues are playing out there this weekend. So.
Okay. All right. Well, Le'Veon Bell had a rough day, Bob. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Not only did he lose both of his girlfriends in the same day, apparently he had a pair of them. He had a pair of girlfriends, Le'Veon Bell, running back for the New York Jets. Apparently, allegedly, they took off of $520,000 of his stuff from his home.
Why doesn't he have a safe?
Because that's his girlfriends. You trust your girlfriends around your place, apparently. I don't know how long he's had this pair of girlfriends. I guess they came in pairs. He had two girlfriends. And
the Associated Press referred to him as girlfriends. I haven't seen Le'Veon Bell refer to him as girlfriends. Interview I saw with Le'Veon Bell, he just said he got robbed.
The most expensive item apparently was an $80,000 Rolex. Yeah. When I want the time, Bob, I just look at my phone. Of course, that's a fashion accessory. You can't even probably read what the time is on those things. $80,000 Rolex, a gold bracelet, diamond encrusted gold chains. You got any diamond encrusted gold chains, Bob? Get your Mr. T look on? No, you don't? Okay, all right. And then a Black Panther pendant, and so $520,000 worth of jewelry taken from his South Florida home by both of his girlfriends. I think they were in it together. What do you think, Bob?
I have no idea. I'm not high on Le'Veon Bell. The guy set out the entire. I don't know who leaves $15 million on the table and just doesn't go play.
I know.
So
you got to wonder
he went
about
to the Jets, got less money.
Yeah.
Less than Pittsburgh offered him. So I'm down on Le'Veon Bell.
Just sits out.
Hate that he got
throws away
robbed,
$15 million.
He's got plenty of money, so I'm sure he can buy more gold chains, but hopefully he has a bad year in New York. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, maybe they had some sentimental value, Bob. You reckon he's filed for the insurance company yet?
I know he lived in Hollywood, Florida. I mean, learned that.
He's down in Hollywood, Florida.
That's where his home was at.
Yeah.
So.
Down there where Burt Reynolds used to live when he was alive.
$500,000 worth of stuff. So I thought, if you have that kind of stuff, you got in the safe, just lock it up.
You would think that you would lock it in a safe. Okay, I
mean, if you got that kind of money, you kind of take precautions, you would think, but apparently not.
No, and like I said, these two girlfriends of his, I don't know. How long he's been dating them or so?
He called them acquaintances. He didn't call them
okay, in his mind, if they're acquaintances, why do you leave $520,000 of the jewelry hanging around?
Press said they were girlfriends.
Okay, Well, then if they're not girlfriends and they're just acquaintances, you lock that stuff up, Bob. Here's a shocker right here, Bob. Beach Boy Brian Wilson cancels tour. Says he's feeling mentally insecure. Of course, we've all know Brian Wilson has been mentally insecure since the 60s. He's had some issues through the years, Bob.
I didn't know you still torn. Hats off to him.
Yeah. He was the musical genius behind it. And of course,
he still get gigs. He's doing good.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of the geniuses out there, they're on the edge there. And Brian Wilson has always been on the edge. There's been many years back in the really heyday that he didn't even tour because he was, he was seeing things he shouldn't see. Let's just put it that way.
Was he the one that was friends with Manson? Was that the one?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea.
One of those Beach Boys.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But Brian Wilson was the musical genius behind it and putting everything together and the songs and the tracks and all that kind of stuff like that. But just an iconic band from the 60s and 70s there, the Beach Boys. And they've been kind of on and off through the years. And Mike Love with his group. And sometimes the Beach Boys would get back together and, that kind of stuff.
I suppose that's what Manson, that's part of the reason if you read the Manson book, he got upset. He wasn't friends. This guy with the Beach Boys was supposed to get him a recording contract, and he bailed on him and didn't do it. So that's why Manson supposedly went the way he went. So I don't know if that's the one or not, but that's what I recall.
Well, that's surely a good reason to go off the deep end there, Bob. You did get a recording contract.
You thought he had talent.
Yeah. Do you know that one of his followers just came up for parole? I mean, this has been since the late 60s now. She just came up for parole, and she was denied it because the parole board felt that she was still a threat to society. After all these years, Bob.
They're still in love with Manson. I mean, they saw it. Showed a documentary just a couple weeks ago on ABC where they interviewed three of them. They said all three of them said they're still in love with him. So.
I mean, once they got off the drugs, what kind of hold did he still have on them all these years when they didn't see him or anything? I mean, he's in one prison, there in another. What kind of hold did he have over them, Bob? I mean, I could see at the time, okay, but it's a long time. Yeah, it's right. It's love.
That's what I say. Love is blind.
Well, I agree with that statement right there. Love is blind. Been there, done that.
They're in love with Charlie. So.
Yep. Well, Bob. Let's see. You're 5 years younger than me, so you're turning the big 60 this year. Is it?
This September.
This September, you're turning 60s, out of your 50s into your 60s. Well. In August, I'm turning 65, okay? Which means I will officially, in the eyes of the U.S. government, become a senior citizen, okay? And so, which means, do you need to take that, Bob? Is that more important than our show? What do we have there?
Coach Boyne says that he can be here, so yeah.
Okay, the coach couldn't be here this morning. Okay, we had a coach lined up.
He says he can make it, so.
Oh, he can make it? Well, we still got another 17 minutes.
Yeah, if I just tell him.
Come on down. Come on down. All right. So in August, I begin on Medicare. Okay. Now, of course, if you look at your pay stub, ever since you've been working, you've been paying into Medicare. You've been paying in. You got Social Security taken out. You got Medicare taken out. And so in August, I begin with being on the Medicare. I drop my private insurance and go on Medicare. Now, I didn't realize that. I've been paying in all these years to Medicare, and the only part that don't cost, is since I've been paying in all these years, or anybody else, is the hospitalization part of it. But you've got to get Plan B too, and Plan B is where they will pay for all the other stuff, the doctors and the test and all that kind of stuff. So that amount is deducted from my Social Security check. So I get hospitalization. That's been paid for all these years. I've been paying them in my paychecks, okay, all these years. But I got the Plan B, which means I've got to pay X amount of money per month. I don't pay it. It just automatically comes from my Social Security check. Now, that pays for 80% of the medical fees, Bob. And then I got to get a supplemental insurance, in addition to this from a private company, to pay the other 20%. So not retiring, but getting on Medicare is becoming expensive, Bob. Oh, boy. Wait till you get there. Yeah.
I keep fighting my age. See,
You keep fighting your age?
because they keep sending me this AARP stuff, and I keep throwing it in the trash.
You used to be on AARP since you were 50,
I know,
Bob.
but I keep throwing it in the trash.
You
I
keep
don't-
throwing it in the trash?
I don't feel like a retired person. So
No, it doesn't mean you're retired. It just means that, you got something in common with other people, You're above the age of 50. You don't do anything with it. So it was eye-opening. It was eye-opening yesterday as I was talking with the insurance folks about the Medicare. See, I already got my Medicare health insurance card right here, go in effect in June. And then they said, now listen, that's going to take care of your hospitalization, and then the government's going to take X amount of money from your Social Security check each month for Plan B. I said, what's Plan B? Well, that's to pay the physicians and the test. The regular part's just for hospitalization. And then you got to have supplemental insurance if you want the other 20% to be taken care of, where you don't have to pay 20% out of your pocket. I said, well, how much is that going to cost me? So next thing you know, this senior citizen Medicare thing's getting expensive.
I'm planning my trip to Vegas for my 60th. That's what I'm doing.
Oh,
So
you're going to go to Vegas?
I've never been to Vegas, so that's what I'm doing.
Have you got a hotel that you really like to stay at yet?
I haven't. I'm looking.
You're looking at them,
lining
huh?
it up,
Okay.
so I'm getting advice from people who've been there. So
You got to figure out what you want to do there. What your lifestyle is and what you want to do. I mean, you've got the young party hotels where you got the young folks there in their 20s and 30s who like to stay up to 4 o'clock in the morning partying, and you got other ones that are more downtown, which is aimed more at the people at your age group, Bob, at 60 years old, and the old timers. Huh?
saying I can't stay up all night. I thought you don't sleep in Vegas. I thought you just stay up all night.
Yeah, well, you can, but you got to sleep sometime. Yeah, so they do have the different parts of Vegas according to what you want to do there. And see, I don't like to gamble. I really, really don't like to gamble. If I go on a cruise, which has been a long time, I may throw some quarters or something like that into a slot machine, but that's it. But so if to me to go to Vegas and gamble would be, but I'd like Vegas for the shows and the events and the activities and the stars and stuff like that.
I'm going to go during football season, so I'm going to be in one of those sport books, watch all those
Oh,
games.
you are.
Because I do like to gamble. So
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
it'll be fun. But that's my plan for my 60th. I'm in the process of planning it all out.
Okay. And the reason why I brought up all this Medicare stuff here is I think I'd mentioned to you before is that I'm a graduated Wayne County High School class of 72. Well, is Delane Crawford's jeweler sent this out. He's been heading up our get-togethers ever since we graduated and starting with a 10-year reunion. Delane Crawford down there at Crawford's Jewelers. Sometimes you'll catch him there. Other times you won't because the sun's kind of running the place now. And it says, we graduated as seniors. We have now become senior citizens. And so on June 29th at the Pine Forest Country Club, we're having a Medicare party. Now, you're getting old when you have a class reunion get-together, and it's called a Medicare party, Bob. Medicare party. Now, it's not, we just had a reunion 2 years ago for our 45th, and we won't have our 50th until 2022, but this is just in the middle here, okay? It's like we had a 60th birthday party class reunion. To celebrate this occasion, we're having a Medicare party on Pine Forest Country Club. A Medicare specialist will speak at 6, dinner served at 7, and socializing afterwards. We'll be out of there by 10 so everybody can get home and go to bed.
That's pretty sad.
That's pretty sad. No, at our last class reunion in 2017, we had out there at the Harris Pond House, we had, we're having a good time out there just sitting around, very casual, informal, and had a meal served and all that kind of stuff. Georgia was playing that night, so we had a ball game going, all kind of stuff. But it was amazing. About 9 o'clock, some of the classmates started leaving. I said, what's going on here? Well, I got to get home and get to bed. Well, it was our 45th class reunion, Bob. But the dinner served, socializing afterwards. So after the dinner, there's no band playing or anything. It's just socializing afterwards, which means, it won't feel so bad if you're bebopping out of there by 9 o'clock, getting ready to go home and get sleep, get your beauty rest. Apparently, Delane Crawford and the committee there thought that we needed a Medicare party. And that's getting old there when your class get-together is a Medicare party, because everybody, we're all turning 65 this year, except for the ones who maybe didn't pass a grade, and now they're 66 or something like that, but most every one of us 65. Yeah. You see, it's staying in with budget for a lot of us, a lot of the class reunions who are on a fixed income now, a lot of the class graduates for 72, it's $25 per person. So we're trying to keep it very affordable for the folks that are retired on a fixed income. But apparently Delane Crawford feels we need a Medicare party so we can learn all about it. Well, I learned all about it yesterday, and I was amazed how expensive it's going to be on Medicare. Oh boy, but that means you're getting old when your class reunion is having a Medicare party. No band, just Medicare party, meal, socializing, so everybody can definitely be home by 10 and go to sleep. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right, 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. And, as you mentioned a few moments ago, we're just a few days away from college football beginning. And it's hard to think that. Everything I've looked at, it's Alabama in the West, Georgia in the East, playing for the SEC championship. If you got any other places? Once again, yeah. We'll see, because that's just what's on paper right now. I don't know what happened during the season.
It's a tough season, though. A lot of good teams in the SEC, so, can't overlook anybody. I just saw some on Dog Nation report saying that they think the trap game's the Tennessee game, so, but got to play Texas A&M, got to play Auburn, got to play
Notre Dame.
Florida. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But a lot of talent in Athens, a lot of expectations, so.
Well, you can't win the national championship if you can't beat everybody, Bob.
Sad thing I keep hearing is they keep, both Mullen and Kirby Smart are talking about moving that Georgia-Florida game out of Jacksonville. So
why?
Georgia fans need to be on hand for that, because it takes away recruiting weekend. Not to have they don't recruit. They don't have the recruits on the sidelines for the Georgia-Florida game. If they're playing
Why?
at home, they just don't. They don't.
Who cares?
Apparently,
it's one game.
Apparently, Kirby Smart cares, because that's what he gave a 5-page dissertation on it, saying that they're falling behind recruiting because they don't have their recruiting weekend in Athens or in Florida. So both Dan Mullen and Kirby Smart are talking about moving that game out of Jacksonville. So be interested to see how that politics plays out.
Athens to Gainesville, back and forth.
Back and forth. They want to go home and home. So they said it'd be more fun to beat Florida at their home field, and same vice versa. Gators are saying they'd like to come to Athens because they've seen it on TV, and they've seen the night games where everybody's got the flashlights on, so they just think it's a better atmosphere. So that's the discussion taking place between both Kirby and Dan Mullen. So it'd be interesting, how the Jacksonville politics.
Well,
there's a lot of money. They make a lot more money going to Jacksonville than they do playing at home.
Yeah,
so.
Well, the athletic directors and the presidents of the colleges made that
Keep in
decision.
mind, just something to watch. But that's the first time I've seen a Georgia coach indicate that he wants it moved out of Jacksonville. So, and Dan Mullen wants it moved out of Jacksonville as well.
Well, what about these teams at the beginning of the year that play like the Chick-fil-A get together? Not Chick-fil-A, but the kickoff scene there in Atlanta. They can't. I guess, but of course, that's not every year though. That's not every year.
Right.
But that's amazing. They feel like they're getting that. To me, it seems like the TV exposure would be worth it.
Every game's on TV.
Yeah, but you're your premium game 3:30 in the afternoon on CBS.
If they played at home, it'd be the same thing. It's not like the game's not going to be on television.
I don't know. I don't know about. I know all the folks in South Georgia, Southeast Georgia, and Northeast Florida wouldn't like that because it's a big economic boom to this area, and it's a tradition.
I'm just saying it.
That's
the discussion. I'm just telling you. Be aware. I think the contract runs for a certain time anyway, but after the contract ends, if Kirby Smart's still coaching Georgia and Dan Mullen's still coaching Florida.
Well, they won't be making the decisions. It'll be at the athletic directors and presidents of the college.
Who do you think the athletic director listens to? Listens to Kirby. If Kirby goes into McGarry's office and says he wants it in Athens, it'll be in Athens.
It's according to how many of the big, deep pocket donors. Okay? The people who give millions.
Okay. We'll see how it plays out.
Money talks, Bob. We know that.
I went to both those games in Athens and
In Gainesville.
Gainesville.
They weren't good experiences for Georgia.
Wasn't the one in Gainesville. It was pouring down rain, and we got our tails kicked. So, and then we got blown out in Athens.
Yeah. So, it was a tough time for Georgia at that time.
Scored 50.
Sexburger. My
22 to 84-yard bomb.
My job is to
30
score.
seconds left.
Your job is to stop me. And if you can't stop me, that's your fault.
Still remember that press conference like it was yesterday. Coach, why would you throw an 84-yard bomb with 30 seconds left? John on the spot, he had the answer. He said, well, I did my research and saw where no opponent ever scored 50 in Athens against any. So I thought I'd be the first. Didn't even blink an eye.
It's amazing how he could be brutally honest and funny at the same time, Spurrier. What's happened to him? Once he just stepped down from South Carolina.
He's still playing golf and enjoying life. Like he coached in that football league. He had his Orlando team in first place, and then it went belly up. Yeah.
What went belly up?
That league.
Oh, it did go belly up?
Yeah.
I never really paid attention to it.
They went bankrupt. They didn't
end the season?
They didn't get checks. They didn't finish the season.
Well, that was really well financed, wasn't it?
6 games into it, they went belly up. They all were out of work.
That's a shame.
That's the way it was.
I had heard about it, but I never really kept up with it.
Yeah, Spurrier was coaching team in Orlando, had them in first place, playing well.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, they just went belly up and told the players hit the road.
Hit the road.
No more finances, no more money.
Yeah, money's gone. Go home.
Don't have no money. Got to stop the season. But I'd hate to see it move out of Jacksonville. I said I love that annual game, but I said just reading what I've been reading on Dog Nation and from Florida is both coaches and players on teams are talking about they want to go to a home and home.
Well, is it past its time then? Is it past its time and it's better for both universities to have it at home?
I don't think so, but I'm just telling you that's what they're talking about. I'd hate to see them ever move it. I said it's been there since I think they said 1933. It's been there.
I have no idea how long it's been there.
A long time. So.
Yeah. I remember the game when I was, the first 14 years of my life before I moved here to Jesup in 1968. The first 14 years of my life, I grew up in Jacksonville. And, of course, it was always a big talk. You saw it on the news and heard it on the radio about the Georgia-Florida game. Of course, I didn't have a dog in the hunt right then. But it's amazing. Even when I was living in Jacksonville as a kid, all right, up to age 14, I still pulled for the Dogs because even though I was in Jacksonville, all my family was from South Georgia, even though a lot of them lived in Jacksonville at the time.
Here it is right here. It says, why Georgia-Florida can move from Jacksonville. Kirby Smart comments telling Georgia football coach Kirby Smart made waves along the Gulf Coast last week discussing the uncertain future destination of the annual rivalry game with Florida. He says nothing's been decided. There's no decision being made at this time. He says we're thinking about it. The game's been traditional, played the neutral site at Jacksonville, and they've got a contract through 2021. Each school makes approximately $1.5 million. It would be prorated if it were home and series. They added money in unique game-setting games at a cost. UGA loses one of 8 SEC home official visit recruiting weekends, 12.5% each 2 seasons. Smart said, when you look at recruiting now, the model they have is that December's the early signing date. The official visits have become really important. We got official visits happening in the season. We lose a really big opportunity to have official visits come to our campus with the Georgia-Florida game in Jacksonville. Georgia AD Greg McGarrett explained that the NCAA rules on neutral site recruiting are so restricted that neither schools bother with it. The only thing you can do at a neutral site, you can provide tickets to prospects, however you cannot entertain them. All you can do is provide a complimentary ticket. That's what's allowable under NCAA rules. So all we could do is leave tickets at will call. Haven't done that because there's not a benefit to that. We'd all rather entertain our status athletes on campus. Of course, the fans weighed in. Only 37% of the fans want it moved out of Jacksonville. So, again, just something to think about. Like I said, both coaches talking about moving it to Jacksonville. But right now, we're good because the contract goes to 2021.
Okay.
We got
a guest here.
Coach Poinsett didn't make it. Good to see you, Coach. How you doing?
Coach who?
All right, good morning.
Dave Poinsett, offensive coordinator, wrestling coach. I think we'll talk about wrestling first, right? You went to Valdosta yesterday?
Oh, yeah, we went to Valdosta High School yesterday. matched up with the big boys, Camden County, Lowndes, Colquitt. We just had a good old time. Camden County brought about 70 kids out there, put them out on the mat, and everyone's jaw dropped. Yeah, our little kids didn't bother us, went out there and had a good old time. Kids are doing well. We're real excited about the program here and what they're doing.
I know when you talked, they had an assembly, you told all the kids, you were looking for kids to sign up, and a lot of kids signed up. So it should be a lot bigger numbers this year 2 than year 1.
Oh, yeah. A lot of things are happening. We're building a program. Last year we started with just a varsity program and a JV program. It was come one, come all. As this thing has evolved right now, we have a junior varsity program and a middle school program. We are looking to take Arthur Williams and Martha Puckett and put them together and just call the thing Wayne County Middle School. Sheila Brockington and Paul Rothwell are trying to get a schedule set up for that on the middle school level. Unfortunately, the middle schools don't set their schedule till August, so we don't know who, what, where, when, but we know we had about 70 kids show up, express interest, We're actually practicing with some of the middle school kids right now. We practice 2 days a week, and then we'll go to some round-robin tournaments over the summer. Looking forward to having one ourselves, hopefully in 2 weeks here at a new facility, but as soon as the season starts and we find out what we're doing, we're going to get those little kids out there and build a feeder program and add another solid sport to the Wayne County lineup.
This past year you had 1 kid qualify for state, is that right?
Three. Cameron Rouse at 126, Hayden Beasley at 160, and Zane Mansfield at 195. And 2 of them were alternates. They were 9th place finishers. Cameron was first guy ever in Wayne County history show up at a wrestling meet, wrestling tournament, state wrestling tournament. Lost one to a kid from Arabia Mountain and wound up winning one. So he was 1-1 in the state tournament first year.
There's scholarships in wrestling, just like football and baseball.
There are scholarships in wrestling more akin to like the baseball side of scholarships. When you go to school, it's books, tuition, or fees, things of that nature. But there's places to go and wrestle, absolutely.
They got the big 7-on-7 tournament. You going down there to Savannah this weekend?
No, they left this morning. We rolled in from Valdosta about 10 o'clock last night and stayed in there to wash some clothes and called Ken, told him good luck. I'll see what fortune has for them this morning. Hope they do well.
You were there at the scrimmage. What's your thoughts about the team this fall?
I think we got a bunch of a lot of young kids, and that's a double-edged sword. It's both good and it's concerning in a sense, and I don't mean that negative. Being a coach, your job is to teach young kids, mold young kids, and that's what we're doing right now. We had a lot of attrition, a lot of seniors graduate, a lot of shoes to fill, but boy, a lot of good young men coming up too that have got to step into those shoes and understand what it is to be a Wayne County athlete and understand the value of winning and working towards winning. And I think a lot of stuff is promising, Bob. When you look at it, I don't just look at football. I'm looking at all our other sports too. I mean, look what McDonald at Max got to work with baseball. A lot of young kids in baseball. A lot of young kids in track. I think what you're seeing across the board in Wayne County is a youth movement right here, and that's a fantastic thing. We're getting numbers that come out. We just got to go out and we got to coach these young men and women up and show them this is what we need for success. This is how you attain it. But we also got to build them for character and their values for life and all that too. And I think that's what our coaches are doing. We're proud of that.
Butch and I were talking earlier, these kids, it's year-round programs no matter what sport. We're talking about, is there a fear the kids just get burned out by the time they become junior, seniors, that they start at such a young age, they don't get a break? School got out a couple weeks ago, Tuesday, they're back up there working out. It seems there's no break anymore.
You're absolutely right. When you and I grew up, when I was playing baseball as a young kid, just like McDonald, I listened to your show yesterday, American Legion, and that was it. And that started partway through the summer. It was yard ball, yard football. I think what has happened now, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but it's such a trickle down from professional to college to high school, this impact on winning and money and prestige in the arms race, like you were telling me with Florida and Georgia right there, that there's a pressure that you have to turn it into year round. If you don't feel you could win. And that does burn kids out. You know, we tell our kids in all our sports, if you're not having fun, don't do it. We try to be multi-sport around here, but Bob, we're getting to the point in athletics, high school athletics, that it's turning into collegiate athletics. And yeah, there is a concern, and we realize that, and we don't try to maximize the time that we have with kids. Kids are kids. You know.
Also, if I had a boy, at age 2, I'd have him dribbling a basketball. You're sitting on the bench, you're making multi-million-dollars. I mean,
isn't that something?
I mean, seriously. I mean, it's amazing the money that's involved in it. That's what people see. I mean, that's what the goal. I mean, these kids, they just got visions of being a professional athlete. You hear it all the time when you talk to kids, what's their goal? I mean, you go out to the rec department, you'll talk to 8 and 10-year-old kids. What's your, I want to be a major league ball player. I mean, that's all you hear.
No question. The math's against you on that. And I had the fortunate experience of coming through the University of South Carolina, and I remember those guys drilling into us. 2 out of 300 make it into the NFL. So you're lucky you got a high school college scholarship. Take advantage of it. Set yourself up for life. But we're telling you right now, the NFL is not for long. And for me, it wasn't. I had an opportunity out at Seattle. I went out to Oakland, and for me, NFL, I just wasn't good enough. And I admit that. I freely admit that. But thank God I had a coach in Joe Morrison who played with the Giants and Wyatt Tittle and Sammy Ball and all those guys that said, you're going to go back to school, you're going to get your college degree, we're going to set you up for life. We explain that to these kids, too. It's few and far in between, and we've had some success here in Wayne County with people that pursued professional sports. But at the end of the day, it's how you set your values and your character up, but it's also to get yourself prepared for life and to get that high school degree, get that college degree. Those things last forever. Sports goes away.
Again, wrestling, year 1 at Wayne County, very successful, a lot of excitement, a lot of kids showed up. What's the season for wrestling?
The season for wrestling runs from November to February. One of the things that we had an issue with last year that we're going to have an issue with continually is we got football coaches that coach wrestling. Tim Pratt and I are both coaching football. So we don't start until December, basically, and we didn't schedule until December, and I didn't this year either. What we'll do is with this new facility we'll have kids that will go out there, and they will be practicing, and they will be conditioning until the football players, and we get out there. But our thoughts were this. We wrestled anybody. Our motto last year is, you got a mat, we'll come. Doesn't bother us who you are. We're not worried about it. This year we looked at it a little bit different. We scheduled quality, and the reason we did that is we felt it was necessary to wrestle quality kids to get our kids into the individual state. So we're going to see teams like Vidalia. We're actually going to see Camden County at some places. We're going to go over to Valdosta, maybe to a tournament. We're going to 3 tournaments this year. We're going down to Yulee, Florida. We're going over to Effingham County, and we're going to Jeff Davis, which has a fantastic program over there in Hazelhurst. So my thoughts are, and our thoughts are, our kids, to get better at the end, have to wrestle quality in the beginning. So we really did have an ambitious schedule right here, and we're excited about it. We got a new facility, the old Martha Rolls Smith gym. Just finished putting 2 mats in there, painting the thing. It's hot as fire in there.
Good.
Yeah, it is good. They don't know what air conditioning is over there, and I like it. I like it. I think that we have a nice little venue right there. We have 9 home matches this year, and we would encourage people in Wayne County to come out. It's an exciting time. Get to see your kids. We're going to wrap some things around it, too. We're going to honor our first responders. We're going to honor our military. We're going to honor our educators, and we're going to do that at those home wrestling matches. We're going to get our kids involved in service projects. So we're turning this thing not just into a wrestling sport. We want it to be a program for life for these young men and women.
And we do want to let folks know this is on mats. It's not up on a ring. It's not SmackDown.
First question we get all the time: where the turnbuckles at? You betcha. You betcha.
Again, we'll get you in, sometime later before the season begins. Appreciate you coming in late notice.
But, yeah, no problem at all.
Good luck with football and wrestling.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. World famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear, by Murphy Builder Supply on Northeast Bar Street in downtown Jesup, just down from the Big Red Caboose, and by the Women's Health Center in downtown Jesup on Cherry at Broad Street.
World famous Butch and Bob Show.